This is gonna sound really weird, but there is one swatch of the Laundry Day washer and dryer that I have been thinking about for years. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, because I have been wanting to build a laundromat ever since this pack first launched, specifically because of this swatch. Most of the other swatches look like they belong in a home. It's like a regular washer and dryer, but one of them has a coin slot on it. So this looks more like it belongs in a public space, maybe in a laundromat, maybe it's like your apartment's washer dryer. And I've even tried to make laundromats in the past, but there's just not really a reason to do it because A, laundry day is kind of buggy, but B, nobody uses it. If you try and have a place where Sims can come wash their clothes, they won't. At least until now with businesses and hobbies. With this, you can kind of make whatever community lot you want. And one of the business activities is do laundry. And with it, Sims will come there, they'll bring their own clothes and they'll use the washing machines and the dryers. So I want to try and test this out, and I want to try to build a functional laundromat in The Sims 4. I originally set out to build something kind of small, like a tiny lot, family-owned business, and then it quickly devolved into more than one community lot and a giant apartment on the second floor. So let's get into the game and I'll kind of walk you through what I've built. So we're in Brightchester right now, which is the university world, and I'm building this on a 20 by 15 lot that normally has a starter home on it. I just bulldozed this so I can make my own lot instead. I was trying to think about where would be best to build this, and I've built a lot in the new world recently, so I was trying to think about doing it somewhere else, and I kind of felt like Brightchester made sense for a laundromat because the students would probably be coming here to do their laundry. Of course, it's The Sims 4, so they don't really do that, but we're gonna pretend. In reality, if you don't have a place to do laundry, nobody does any laundry. They just don't ever have dirty clothes. But for the story in our minds, the students don't have a washer and dryer in their dorm, so they have to come here to wash their clothes, right? Okay. And I actually think that the build stuff from Businesses and Hobbies goes really well with the style of Brightchester. If you look around in the environment, they've got some pretty tall, like townhouse style buildings that actually look really similar to the ones in Nordhaven. They're a different color. These are more brick-like, but they even have some similar roof details to the Nordhaven ones. So this stuff from this pack worked really well here. And the shape that we're kind of going for right now is essentially two businesses. On the right, we're gonna have a laundromat, and on the left, there's gonna be a small cafe. This is where my too much gene comes out because I did not need to do the cafe part, but I didn't want the lot to be too tiny, and I got kind of excited about this shape. So all of a sudden it was 3 stories tall and I was putting a cafe next door, but I did like it storyline wise because I felt like it was kind of realistic to like go there, put your clothes in the wash, maybe go sit in the cafe and study, wait for it to be finished, come back, put it in the dryer. You know, like it's nice to have a place to hang out next door to the laundromat. So that sort of angled section of the build is where the cafe is gonna go, and the more straight section is for the laundromat. How many times am I gonna say the word laundromat? But we're just trying to figure out the layout and kind of like think about the roof textures right now, and then we'll get into furnishing in a little bit. I don't know what came over me and made me want to use diagonal walls, but I did put diagonal walls on this, and I actually kind of like it. I think it made for a really interesting shape. It was extremely difficult to do the floor plan of that section, but it did look really cool from the outside, so it was worth it. Also, before you say it, I realized the windows are blue. It is not a blue Suburban. This is by definition absolutely in no way, shape, or form a Suburban, but the windows are blue. The whole building's not blue because there's no blue wallpaper in Businesses and Hobbies. I'm really surprised by that, to be honest, because I feel like normally they'll give us 2 blue swatches on basically every item in the game, and they didn't this time. So I'm glad that they didn't this time, but it is kind of weird considering how much blue we get. There are blue windows though. We couldn't escape that one. And I did use those blue windows across most of the bigger part of the building, but there's like a light creamy pinky color wallpaper behind them. I thought it was kind of a cool color combo. And then I tried to use more arched windows on the other side, and I really like how it looks like this, but I had the hardest time putting the floor plan in there with those big arched windows. This was a struggle trying to figure it out. And I know I said that already, but I just cannot emphasize enough how difficult it was for me to make this floor plan because it's so tiny. I thought that it was bigger than it was. Like when I was making this, it seemed pretty big. And then I got inside and I was like, okay, wow, there's literally no space in here. And half the walls are diagonal, so it's really hard to fit stuff around them. But anyway, while I finished trying to figure out this floor plan, I feel like I should probably address the elephant in the room, which is this giant thing on my chin. I don't know if it's actually that bad or noticeable, but it looks really red to me, and I'm like so aware of it and so self-conscious about it that I feel like I should point it out. I burned my face a couple days ago with a soup ladle, and I don't know how this happened. I know you're gonna ask. I don't have an answer for you. Basically, we were making chili on Sunday and I went to go taste test it. And for some reason I was going to use like the big soup ladle spoon instead of just like a regular size spoon. So I didn't have a good grip on it because it's a weirdly shaped spoon and there was too much chili in the spoon and like underneath it dripping off the bottom. So I go to taste test it and I kind of like drop it on my face by accident. Instantly burns my face. It like blistered immediately and now it looks like this. And I can't believe I managed that. Thankfully it doesn't hurt anymore, but it's just like really red and kind of embarrassing because I did it with soup. But if you've been seeing my videos this week and wondering like, Kayla, what's that on your face? It's a soup burn from a soup ladle. This is also like terrible timing as well because I'm going to Chicago this weekend to visit my grandma and a bunch of my cousins are going to be in town and like my grandma's not doing very well. So it's going to be a nice opportunity to like see family and spend time with them. We're going to want to be taking pictures and now I've got this giant soup burn on my face. I don't want to have a soup burn in these photos. I'm recording this on Thursday, so fingers crossed that by the time I get there on Saturday, it'll look a little bit better, but I don't know. It's really not that bad. I'm being so dramatic. It's just hard when you know that you have this thing on your face, you feel self-conscious about it, even though it's really not that big of a deal. Even when you have like a giant zit or something, it's really not that bad, but for you, because you're like so hyper aware of it, it feels really bad, you know? Even if nobody else would notice it, it's like the first thing you see when you look at yourself. But hey, at least I didn't burn my face with soup before the wedding because I got married a month ago. So if this happened then, I guess that would be really bad. That would be way worse. So I didn't have a soup burn at the wedding. But anyway, let's talk about the build for a second because we're working on that floor plan I was complaining about. So most of the second and all of the third floor are a part of the apartment, and then obviously the whole downstairs is public. The apartment itself has 2 bedrooms on the top floor, and then it's got like a nice living space on the second floor. And on the left side of the second floor, in the rounded part, the cafe has some more space. So the cafe is actually 2 stories. It's really tight down there, and I wanted to have some tables and some couches and some places to sit. So I used part of the second floor for the cafe. There's also a bunch of seating outside for the cafe, and I found out that you can put the study spot lot trait on these businesses. So I was able to use that too. So Sims can like study and do their homework better while they're here. But we'll get to that after we finish the actual laundromat because that is the reason we're all here. And that was the most important part of the build. So this big tile section is where all the laundry is gonna go. I should warn you, there's a couple weird things about this that are a little bit different from how it might be in real life. So I've put a bunch of stacked washers and dryers around here. And I think in real life, it would make more sense to have all of the washers together and then all of the dryers together. And you just can't really do that in The Sims because you can't stack 2 washers. So if I wanted to have them stacked, you have to stack a washer and then a dryer. So I could have had them separated by washers on one side and dryers on the other if I didn't stack them, but I really liked the look of them being stacked and how it was quite tall and like kind of tight in here. I wanted it to feel very cramped and small and kind of hard to get around and have as many washer and dryers as possible. So that's why I did it this way. And honestly, like the functionality of it, you can just pretend that half of it is washers and half of it is dryers because they all look the same. You can't really tell anyway. I also put a couple different rolling carts with hampers in them. So it's kind of like a rolling laundry basket people could use. Along the back wall, I have some counters because I was imagining that being space for folding. I thought about trying to have some tables or something, but it really was so small that I couldn't really fit that in here. I also put one of the supply closets from Lovestruck because I really wanted to have a place to woohoo. Was that necessary? Probably not, but it's fun and it's nice to have. And I think it's realistic to have a supply closet in here. And then I also put a couple vending machines in here. They're actually food and drink vending machines in the game, but I'm trying to pretend that they're selling like laundry detergent. You just can't do that in The Sims 4, so we have to use our imagination a little bit. How many times have I said that in videos since this pack came out? It's like every single build I'm like, okay, well listen, we have to play pretend a little bit. But that's just classic Sims 4. You have to kind of pretend with most things we do. I think at its core, The Sims is kind of about playing pretend, just in general. It's like we're playing with virtual dolls. So the whole thing is playing pretend. I also put a couple benches. There's like some chairs in the front corner. I put one of the AC units, and I did put a little door. I also put a couple chairs in the front. There's like some magazines up there. We have an AC unit. I put a fan. Eventually I'll go through and add some TVs onto the walls too. I wasn't really sure where would be best to put them, but I put those really tiny get to work TVs laundries above some of the washer and dryers in like that middle section. And then of course the ticket kiosk is kind of off to the corner by the front door. So functionally in game, the way this works, and it does work, you don't have to play pretend. They will come and do their laundry here, but I'll just explain how it actually works real quick. Your Sims are gonna walk in, they'll tap to pay at that kiosk, and I would recommend that you set it as an hourly charge. I think that makes more sense for this because they wouldn't just pay one time and then have unlimited laundry access. Like, we want them to pay and then pay while they're here, pay as you go as they're washing stuff. And the Sims actually do come in and they'll put their clothes in the washer and they'll bring their own clothes. You don't have to give them hampers or provide dirty clothes. They will bring them. They'll have dirty clothes in their inventory to put on the wash. Something I noticed is that they maybe didn't dry them a lot of the time. It's kind of like how if you're trying to have Sims come pay you to paint, they might not always finish their painting. Like sometimes you have to scrap their painting for them because they just up and left without finishing it. You might have that experience with the laundry as well. You might have to put it in the dryer for them. I don't mind that too much because a lot of laundromats in real life do offer services like that. Like there are places that you can go and pay and they'll like wash and dry and fold your clothes for you. And that's where the playing pretend comes back in because you're gonna have to pretend that that's you if your Sims just leave their clothes there. But it's okay. It's like, it's not broken or anything. It's not that bad. It's just something to keep in mind. Also, I'm noticing that I moved the ticket kiosk outside, which actually makes more sense to me because that way it works for both businesses. So scrap what I said. They'll check in outside and then walk in and do their laundry. In place of the ticket kiosk next to the vending machines, I actually put a fire extinguisher and I put a couple of fire related things in here. There's like a fire safety sign over off to the side because as we all know, dryers in The Sims are kind of an extreme fire hazard. If you don't clean the lint trap, they will catch fire pretty often. I didn't have that experience when I was playtesting this, but I feel like if you play in this laundromat long enough, you probably will have them catch fire. So just be keeping an eye on that if you're trying to run the business. And I did put some little fire decor for fun, but I also have a sprinkler system. And that was something that some people in my Twitch chat were asking me a lot of questions about because they hadn't seen it before. And perhaps this is my fault because I never use it in my videos. So if you only consume my Sims content, you might not have seen this before. But there's basically two fire alarm systems you can use in the game. There's the regular fire alarm. It's just that little tiny circle. And if there's a fire on your lot, it'll go off and then call the fire department automatically. I don't even really use that one because personally, I kind of enjoy when my Sims houses catch fire. And also I find the firefighters annoying and rude because they show up and they're like, oh my God, you're so stupid. Your house caught on fire. Be more careful next time. Okay. Hurry up and get here faster next time. The firefighters are so slow. I always put it out before they even get there. So I just don't really use the fire alarm. But there's also a second item that's like a fire safety system. If you're looking for it in game, it's called the Fire Prevention System Utility Panel. And I just put it on the wall outside behind this door. And that thing is literally sprinklers. So if you have a fire alarm and that utility panel on your lot, if a fire happens, the sprinkler system will go off and it will like pour water on the fire and put it out for you. So I felt like it made sense to have in this public space. However, for me personally in my game, I like when my Sims houses burn down. That's why I don't use it. It's kind of expensive as well, but you should definitely consider putting that in your Sims houses. It's nice to have as a backup plan and as a safety feature. But anyway, we're moving on into the interior of the cafe now, and I am yet again struggling with the layout of it, as you can see. So what we've got going on in here is like a small cafe counter, and that's the functional one from Businesses and Hobbies. With that, your Sims can buy like coffee, tea, and a couple of cupcakes. It works very similar to the one from Get Together, but it sells different stuff. It's actually more similar in function, I guess, to the bubble tea counter from high school years, and it looks very similar to the bubble tea counter as well. But it works even if you don't have those packs. You only need to have Businesses and Hobbies to use that counter in particular. And so if I were trying to run this business, I would hire an employee to tend that counter, and then the Sims will come up and like buy coffee, they'll buy food. I've got one couch downstairs and like kind of a small employee break room sort of thing in the back. I put that employee break room there just so I could break up the wall because the diagonal was too much for me. I needed a right angle that I could put the counter in front of. So I just kind of tucked some stuff in the back corner. And then upstairs, I have some more tables. There's like some laptops because the other lot activity I put on this one was to have your Sims study. I think the actual lot activity is called Do Homework, But under that do homework lot activity umbrella, they'll do their homework, they'll study for classes, and they'll use textbooks. So it works for kids and teens, but it also works for university students. And I really liked that as like a little study hangout spot. I feel like if I play with university again, I'm probably gonna place this lot down because it's kind of a cool spot to have. There's also not really anywhere else to get coffee in this town. You can buy drinks at the bar, but you can't really buy coffee. And this feels a little bit nicer to me than the restaurant that I usually place on this lot, because I normally put restaurants, but we all know how restaurants are. Like, they're so buggy and so slow, so a cafe is easier to use. Just keep in mind, if you do place this lot down off the gallery, you're gonna have to set up the business yourself. The gallery version doesn't have the lot activities or any of that. It's kind of weird because businesses are tied to the sim and not tied to the lot. So if you want to place this, you'll just have to place it off the gallery, make a random sim, have them move in here, and then make them a business real quick, and then assign them a few activities. I would put do laundry, drink coffee, and do homework, but I also put watch TV and clean on this one. You don't have to do that, but I feel like it was nice to have all 5. It is kind of annoying. It's like an extra step when you're placing this off the gallery, but you can do it quick with randomized sims. As far as the color scheme goes in this part of the build, I was mostly using like wood colors and that kind of pretty pastel green. The green was inspired by the green color of the menu board. I was like, oh, that's cute. That could be my color scheme. And I thought it was kind of nice to have green in this place and then more of like a bluish tone in the laundromat. I also like the super different vibes. Like, this one is very brown with the wood and like brown accents and brick colors. And the laundromat is like pretty tile and light blue and it's kind of minty. So I thought it was kind of a cute juxtaposition of the two of them next to each other. This room back here is that break room that I was talking about. It's not really a break room. I put a dishwasher and a fridge back there so you can grab a quick meal, I guess. And there's just like a little chair tucked in the corner and some lockers. That is literally just there to take up space, to be honest. I just wanted to have that corner be blocked off, like I said. But I think it makes sense and it's kind of realistic. Now, downstairs, there's a bathroom that's accessible for the laundromat, and then upstairs, there's one for the cafe. So there are 2 public bathrooms on this lot. For a little bit, I was thinking about maybe trying to have some sort of archway in between the 2 businesses and have them be connected, but I didn't really like how that looked. I kind of wanted them to look like 2 separate places, even if functionally they're technically all the same one. I've been getting asked that question a lot about businesses and hobbies, like, can you run more than one business on the same lot? And this is kind of a good example of the way that you have to pretend to do that. I know, we're pretending again. But like in this case, it looks like it's 2 businesses. We're pretending that it's 2 businesses, but I've just assigned it the lot activities for 2 different types of places. So I've given it some cafe activities and some laundromat activities, and Sims will come here and they'll do both. It's technically 1 business, but it sort of works like it's 2. The other way to have more than 1 business is that you can have more than 1 sim in your household. So imagine if for some reason Bella Goth wanted to open a pottery studio and Mortimer Goth wanted to have a bakery. You could build them a lot like this that has a pottery studio and a bakery, and you would just open Mortimer's bakery on Monday and then Bella's pottery studio on Tuesday. You can only have one open at once, but you can kind of run them as 2 different businesses on the same lot. There's not a way to distinguish the areas between 2 businesses though, so you have to set it as public, and it's just like the whole place is public. So all of the business areas have the same distinction. Your Sims don't know that this is Bella's studio and that one is the cafe. They just think the whole thing is the business. I guess you could like lock the doors differently if you wanted to when you were opening them separately, but I don't really mind too much if they go into the wrong spot. Like, it doesn't really bother me. I've grown very accustomed to pretending, so I can just accept it. Okay, but anyway, we're working on the outside a little bit more right now. I'm putting some tables outside of the cafe for your Sims to come sit at. These are nice because your Sims can come sit out here and do their homework. They can drink their coffee outside. You could go on a date here if you wanted to. Oh, ooh, that's the other thing you have to pretend about. You can't technically go on dates to small business venues, but you can just bring it. Like, you can travel with a Sim and bring them with you. So you can go somewhere with somebody and be romantic to them, but you could have like a little study date outside. I'm putting some flowers out front of the laundromat, and I also put some bikes out in the front. That debug bike rack has changed my life. I am putting that pretty much everywhere I go. I have been placing that all over the place. That is obviously from Businesses and Hobbies, and it is so good. I really think it's realistic too, especially especially for this world. This is what I mean by Nordhaven and Brightchester being a little bit similar. This world has some canals. There's a lot of bike stuff going on in University because obviously University is when bikes first came to The Sims 4. So there's already other bike things happening, so it kind of makes sense to have more of it in here. But just then I was assigning the lot labels to make different spaces public versus residential, and now we are finally moving into the apartment part of this build. So I kind of skipped past it, but downstairs on the side, there's like a side door that lets you into the apartment. There's a staircase right in front of it. So the Sims who live here will walk in through that side door and then come upstairs to get into their home. And this part of the apartment shares a floor with the upstairs of the cafe. And this is like the main living space of the apartment. So there's a small galley kitchen, there's a dining table, there's a big living room in the back, and then there's another staircase to go up to the third floor, and that third floor has the bathroom and 2 more bedrooms. I'll tell you this, I did not really limit myself when it came to packs on this build. I sort of went all out. I was having a blast with this one. This was also one of the first things that I built when I first got full access to the pack, because I played for like 2 weeks with just the base game and businesses and hobbies. I actually posted the last of those early access CFE videos on Friday. I built a gym with that early access. Oh, it's kind of funny how I've done this upload scheduling of all of the content, because I had that early access for about 2 weeks, and the first video I filmed with it was the gym. That was the first build that I tried. Out of everything I could have chosen, I picked a gym for some reason. And then I posted that video last. It was the last one that I posted out of weeks of businesses and hobbies content. My videos have been like all out of order recently with the pack. It's been weird, but I think we're all back to normal now. Everything's gonna be kind of recorded in a more timely manner now that we're past all of the pre-recording from the pack. But you can kind of see how this living space is coming together. The whole color scheme was inspired by that floral wallpaper from the expansion pack. It's this pretty tiny floral, and it's got like yellow, pink, blue, green. So I kind of tried to use all of those colors in here. We've got a cute blue kitchen cabinet set. There's some kind of peachy couches. I've got green tile. I used the high school years chairs back in the dining room because it's got like kind of a cute pastel stripy swatch, and that kind of fit the color scheme. I'm using the rug from my kit, which is always very fun to say because it's got that cute blue color. Oh, and this is that hallway. You can see it a little bit better down here. So this is where they'll come into the apartment. I just put a bench down here and like a mirror. I don't really see your Sims spending much time in this area. It's really tight. So I was kind of trying to think in real life you might come down here and like put your shoes on, and I furnished it with that in mind. And then on the top floor we've got 2 bedrooms and that big bathroom that I had been telling you about. One of the bedrooms belongs to the owner of the laundromat, and then the other bedroom I was kind of pretending belonged to their university-aged child. I liked the story of the Sim living here with their parents and like going to the local college. My Twitch chat and I, when I was building this, had talked a lot about maybe trying to make it for roommates to live up here, because it makes sense to have a group of university students living in this small apartment, but also the Sim who lives here has to own the laundromat, and I don't think that a group of university students owns the laundromat, right? Like, it would probably be someone who's lived here longer, bit more established, probably not some random group of like 18-year-old friends buying this place, right? So I stuck to the family concept, but their child is a little bit older. They only have the 1 bathroom in the apartment. It's like this big bathroom on the top floor, but I think that's okay because there is a bathroom downstairs. So there are 3 toilets total on this lot, but just 1 shower. And for 2 Sims, 2 or 3 Sims, that's fine. I also put hampers up there in the bathroom, and I just want to offer you a piece of advice. If you're gonna play in this household, you're gonna need to be moving those hampers with your Sim. You can drag hampers into their inventory. So if you want to do their laundry, put that hamper in their inventory. You bring it downstairs for them. Do not trust your Sims to walk up and down 3 flights of stairs holding laundry. They will drop it on your floor. They are bad and they cannot be trusted. So just you manually drag that hamper for them and then put it back afterward. Laundry's so annoying. So you gotta like take some steps to make it easier on yourself, which is really funny to think about because I'm complaining about how laundry functions and then I built this entire laundromat, but it was worth it. It was fun to do. Now again, this is that primary bedroom. It's just got some kind of cute bluish tones. I know, blue suburban, but it matches the windows. And then the other bedroom up here belongs to that college student. And I started by putting a horse bed in there. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, Kayla, isn't this person a grown-up? Yeah, they can still be a horse girl. So they've got a horse bed, but I tried to make it almost like an ambiguous age in this room. Obviously, I was imagining that a horse girl young adult Sim lived in here, but it's also possible that it could be a kid's room, it could be a teen's room. Like, I was kind of trying to have that sort of furniture in it, so if you played here, You could use it for anyone. I put a lot of stuff from my kit in this room as well, like my computer and like the little cubby section. And it's got this sort of cute pink and green color scheme happening inside, plus a lot of horse decor. There's like a horse picture on the wall. I put a little horse figurine. Technically the figurine is a toy, but hey, if they're a young adult, you can say it's a figurine, right? And I really liked this room. I really liked the vibes in here. I think it's pretty cutesy and colorful. All the wood colors work together pretty well, and I was a pretty big fan of it. But that is the last space that we're decorating. So what I want to do now is finish up the build and then pop back into the game real time, and I'll give you a tour of what I've done, because I know it's kind of hard to follow when it's sped up like this. So just as a reminder, I built it here on this 20 by 15 lot in Brightchester. My game crashed. Cool. Great. Okay, well, let's try that again. So this is the lot that I built it on. I'm just gonna bulldoze the default starter home. And on the gallery, it's called the Sips and Suds Laundromat. Whoa, okay, noises. That's weird that they're still playing, right? Anyway, on the gallery, it's called the Sips and Suds Laundromat. It costs 130,000 simoleons, and it has 1 million packs, 2 full pages of packs. But we will place this down. And like I was saying, if I were you, I would just real quick get a randomized sim and have them own this business and set it up really fast. You're gonna pick do laundry, you might pick clean. I would have them drink coffee as well. I also set them to watch TV, and then from this kid activity section, do homework. And this is what I was saying earlier. It'll actually have them do homework, use their textbooks, and use computers. And there's even a laundromat icon that you can use. If you wanted to set target customers, you could, but you don't really have to. And I would also manage the employee tasks and have that random sim you're setting up tend the coffee bar, and then you're good. It'll function. You can come here as a customer. It'll all work fine. And this is what it looks like from the outside. So you can see we've got this pretty tall main building. This is the laundromat, obviously. In the front of it, I've put a couple signs. This one's from Get to Work, and it looks like it's got clothes on it. This is like the opening sign, so that'll change if I open my business. It'll actually look different. It displays it in green instead. So your Sims can come in right here. They can maybe buy some laundry detergent, check out the fire extinguisher. They'll wash their clothes. They can watch some TV while they wait. I've got a few TVs around the room. They could woohoo inside of this supply closet. They can fold stuff back here. There is a fully functional bathroom down here too, complete with a changing table. Laundry is bad enough. Laundry plus infant is really bad. I wouldn't probably risk that if I were you. I would leave the baby at home. But if you wanted to put yourself through the worst, most glitchiest things in the game, you could, I guess, use them both at the same time. And then maybe while you're waiting for your laundry to wash, you could come over here. You could buy yourself a coffee, maybe a cookie as well. I tried to decorate this with like some mugs on the shelf. I put some different bakery stuff back here. I did put a phone on the wall of both businesses. There's like some cute little alarms and coffee lights. If you come upstairs, you could sit at this bar height table and like study while you're drinking your coffee and waiting. There's also another bathroom up here if you wanted to use this one. And there's like some cute book posters and stuff in this area. I like the wall lights a lot. You could instead choose to sit outside if you wanted to. I wouldn't really come back here, but there is like a little employee section if you wanted that. And instead, if you wanted to be the owner of this building, you could come around this side, and this is where the side door is for the owners. I did hide a little dumpster back here, dumpster and a sprinkler system kind of tucked away. Their mailbox is on this wall, plus their bikes over here. And you'll just come in this door and then walk up the staircase into their main living area. I've got this cute living room in the back. There's a lot of bookshelves in here. These people are big readers. They have a fireplace. I love the placement of this kitchen kind of in the middle of the home. So they've got their kitchen here, a little dining table in the back, and then they can come upstairs again. And don't worry, this is functional. I tested it. They can get up here fine. From up here, we've got this tiny little balcony. I put a telescope and a chess table up here. They also have an enormous bathroom, like plenty of space in this bathroom. If you wanted to, you could totally make it into 2 bathrooms, I think, and have one of them be an ensuite from here, but I think it's okay just to have the one. This is the primary bedroom. They've got a computer and like a cute cozy little bed. This room feels very peaceful to me. Like the color scheme is really nice, I think. And across the way, less peaceful, more chaotic. We have a room for the younger sim who lives here. They've also got a computer and everything. And that's the whole house. I am really, really proud of this one. I had a lot of fun building it. So hopefully you've enjoyed watching the process. This is, I think, my favorite thing that I've built so far with Businesses and Hobbies. But stay tuned because I'm working on some more builds. So I'll be posting those on YouTube soon. I also did build this live on my Twitch channel first. So if you want to come by and hang out over there, I'll link my Twitch down below. My name's just lilsimsie on there. And I stream every single day playing The Sims 4 for the most part. Although this weekend I'm in Chicago, so I'm not here right now, but normally I'm live every day. I'll be back tomorrow. back to business as usual. And I also post all of my streams on my second channel on YouTube called More Simsie after I'm done live streaming them. So I'll link that down below too. If you wanted to go back and watch this, I have like a 3-hour video of the full process. No cuts, not sped up. But again, thank you for watching. I will stop plugging my own content now, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay? Bye, everybody. My next feed build is an arcade and bowling alley that I'm gonna post next weekend, and I think that you're gonna like it.